So this is where we get to the real core of the book. Alhamdulillah, we got a few minutes left. I want to get to the core of the book here. So what is the meaning of tribulation? The point here is that the meaning of tribulation is not something that you measure outwardly. It's not something that you measure outwardly. This is the important thing, because he says here on page 17, he says, who told you that tribulation is that which is apparent on the human body and is clearly materialized in some part of it? Tribulation is actually that which penetrates the innermost parts of the soul, and thus the heart is afflicted by its bitterness and agony. So what this means is we cannot judge someone's tribulation merely by outward measurements, right? We can't say, well, this man here, he suffered a death in the family, but this man here suffered a death in the family and a job loss, so he must be suffering more. This person had 3 deaths in the family, this person had 4, therefore this guy suffers more. This guy has 2 long-term medical conditions, this guy has 1, therefore this guy suffers more. That doesn't make sense. You're looking merely on the outward. The reality is, how is that person being affected in the heart? How is that tribulation affecting them in the soul? And you don't know that. You don't know what's happening in someone's heart. So he goes on to say in this chapter, he said, for example, you might look at someone who is blind, is poor, is disabled, and think, oh, this person is such a miskeen. This person lives such a horrible, miserable life. They must be so sad and so depressed. And then you see someone who has a great job and huge income, and they live in a big car, they live in a big house, they have a big car, and so forth. And you think, oh, this person must be constantly smiling from ear to ear with, never any struggles, never any tribulations. And the reality is, no. The person who looks happy to you, who looks like he's rich and comfortable, he might be constantly stressed. He might be constantly anxious, constantly worrying about his money, constantly worrying about losing the money that he has, worried about the next business deal, worried about making some next payment. He's constantly, he never has a peaceful night. Whereas the person who's blind and poor and disabled, he might just be content with Allah. He might say, oh, this is what Allah will for me, I'm content with it. And he sleeps well at night and he's content. So you can't judge it